Hi, welcome to AI Late to Class. Today we're going to go through all the camera controls we can do in the WAN 2.1 video generation models. So an example is like Kling and Minimax on those commercial products, how you can pan left, tilt down, that sort of thing. We want to get that sort of stuff going on locally on our WAN 2.1. And this has been a problem because when we generate videos, it seems to just do its own thing. It'll just do a pan left by itself, and we want to have full control in that. If you watched the last video, you would have seen that I used Uni3C to actually lock the camera and to stop it from just doing its own thing. So in this video, we'll be going through Uni3C to use that to make our videos do the sort of camera angles and movements that we want, but we'll also be looking at all of the ways, including just using the normal FusionX and putting Loras in there. We'll use the Recammaster so we can get footage with already camera movements and add new movements or overwrite the movements that are in there. And we'll be using the fun control camera, so just still image and control the movement that way. Also looking back at our first video and the trajectory based motion movements. First up, we'll look at Uni3C because it's relatively new and pretty cool. It actually has a lot of features in the Comfyui. I've only really got the camera transfer motion working, but you can see on here there's a mix of unified camera and human motion. We can click the arrow and there's sort of trajectory motion going on there, and we've got camera orbit, which we've done on many other apps, and this is motion transfer with camera control. But the one I'll be showing, whereas it will be just taking cameras, as you can see here, let's say a rotation or a pan left or something. So it will be taking the camera motion and then applying it to whatever image to video that you're wanting to do. So it's a very cool product. The next one we should be looking at is actually the Loras that we've seen. These are by a company by Remade that just goes through and does all of the things that you see on the phone apps, and it just remakes them and puts them out as Loras for WAN 2.1. You would have seen a few of these things before. So I'll just show you where the links are to that, and I won't go into too much detail on that one. The next one will be just looking at these camera controls, the fun model 14B control camera, and it has specific nodes where you can do a bit like the Lora, but you can do pan down, pan up, pan left. So you've got control there, which is sort of like the Kling and Minimax sort of thing. And you can connect nodes up to make a pattern of them, and I'll be going through that. And lastly, we have Recammaster, where you can take in existing footage if it already has some sort of motion to it. Then we can override it and make a new camera angle, as you can see in the samples here. Going back to my first video I did on YouTube, this trajectory motion, we did have camera control in here when we right click and we go add new spline, and when we grab this over here and we move it along the top there, it then seems to control the camera. Sometimes it'll control the camera, sometimes it'll control the person. So we don't have a great amount of control, but you can sort of get a pattern where it works. I won't go too much into that because you can go and watch that tutorial and you'll get an idea of how that works. Back in my FusionX workflow now, I don't want to do too much in this either. just only difference here is I've added this WAN video LoRa select. So if you come over to your node library, type in LoRa select, you'll see it just in there. And the one I've got is a pan right to left LoRa there, and you can that and connect it up to there. Just turn that on, and that one will then output the same video, but it'll do a pan right to left in there. You can get these off Savati AI. They're on the whole lot are on there by a company called Remade. I'll put a link to that, and the only thing you need to know is this trigger words over here. For each LoRa, they'll have different trigger words, and you put that in your prompt, and you've got guides there, LoRa strength, and so forth to do there, but you can see from the examples. So on this page here, there is a link to the whole lot on the Hugging Face, and you can see these are all the sort of things that you get in your phone apps, Cakeify, Deflate, and all of that. But if you go near the bottom here, you'll see some sort of camera movements, right? Crash, zoom in, and that. And these can be good for certain things. Crane down, arc shot. Yeah, so there's a whole lot of those sort of things. Before we get going on today's workflows, we just need to get the models. This is the Comfyui website. Down the bottom, we've got the fun control camera. This is the 14B model. The one I'm using in the workflow is the 1.3B model. So I'll have that on Google Drive because I can't see it on here anymore. So this is for people like myself with a GPU that's not very good. But if your one can work, like mine can run the 17.6, but it's a lot slower. You'll also need the Uni3C save tensor there, and I'll put the Recammaster on Google Drive because I can't find that on here anymore either. Yeah, so going into our first workflow, this is the fun control one. Everything is quite normal. We have block swap on there, and we have our model. So there I've got the 1.3B in there. Underneath, text encoder and the 2.1 VAE. I'll have links to those in the comments. And in here you can see high quality video of an alien creature sitting down next to his spaceship. The camera slowly zooms out from his face. The camera begins to pan left while keeping him centered in the frame, creating a cinematic feel, right? So if we're looking down at our camera motions down here, I've got, you can have one, but I've put two on there. So I've got create camera poses, tilt right, and then I've attached another one, zoom out. So it starts left to right. It starts with the zoom out first, then it goes on tilt right. We've got in there frame length. So the frame is 81 frames. I'm doing this. So the first one's 40. The second one I'll put at 41. And then the next bit is through these fun camera embeds. So the strength it's at full strength at 1. Start percent is at the start of the video, and end percent's at the thing. But we can make it go start at 20% and then finish at a certain percent too. There's underneath it says a visualizer. Don't really need that. It just comes up and shows you what angle it's going to go on. There's really not much else we need to know. Underneath, I've turned all of this off. It's just a built-in upscaler. I have Topaz, so I don't use that. And you don't need these other outputs. It's just showing upscaled outputs. So if we look at our video here, this is our final result. And we'll just enlarge it a bit. So as you can see, it zooms out and then it pans around. Now we're in the Recammaster workflow. This is the last video that I did where we had a guy zooming in. We didn't make that zoom, it just happened. So I thought I'd use that same video, put it back into the Recammaster and see if I can get different camera movement from it. So in this workflow, there's really not a lot going on here, different than the last one I just showed you. But over here, we've got the pan right, so we can make our decisions from there where we want the camera to go. I haven't chained another one to it. That's all there is at this stage. Down the bottom, though, we don't have a prompt on this workflow. All we do is it runs through Florence and that sorts out our problem there. But this is where, down here is where our safe tensor goes in, and I've got a block swap there. There's other options if you've got torch compile working, and there's our text encoder, there's our VAE. Up the top, nothing that you need to know. There's just the Florence. It'll automatically download that. Got our width and height, and I found that you can adjust that and it still works even if it's not the same width and height. So I'll just show you that final video, which is this one here. All right, so that's made quite a good tilt there. I will put that in the link so you can have a good look at it, because it's coming out really good quality for a 1.3 billion model. So on to our last workflow now, the Uni3C workflow. So we've uploaded that video again, which is the Viking guy, or the motion of him coming towards us in the cart, and we're going to put in the still image from our other video that I did a while back, and we're going to make the motion from that Viking be applied to this still photo. There's not too much we need to see in here. We've got a clip H safe tensor, clip vision H, that hasn't been in the other workflows, the Recammaster or the control camera. We also have to make sure this will go right to the end here, because the Uni3C is a control net. It goes in your control net folder. It does not go in the diffusion models folder. So if you know what you're doing, put that in the right folder. If you don't, just ask me in the comments. Up above here is just your prompt. Keep it as simple as possible, as I've just written woman standing, because the more you sort of add in, the more weird it'll get. So just keep things simple with this one. I'm using the one FusionX safe tensor, but you can add in extra Loras into that, like face detailer and that. Same thing again, text encoder, VAE underneath, and that's really about all you need to know on that. I'll just bring up the result from that, and I'll have that in the folder as well, so you can have a good look at it. And as you can see, it's pushing the camera towards her. I'll just enlarge that a bit. We'll put it on full screen actually. So you can see it is a really different way of doing camera motions that we haven't seen with the commercial products. Yeah, so that's all I've got today. Subscribe, like, yeah, we'll see you in the next video.